All right, so when you log into your website, you're going to see your dashboard here. When you want to edit anything, you're going to want to go down to the pages area over here. All right, and so your website has 3 pages. We have the frequently asked questions page, we have a home page, and we have the inquiry pages of the contact form. So there's 2 ways to get to the setting that lets you edit the website. You can go to Edit with Elementor. So Elementor is a plugin that we use to do most of the editing with. And it will take a minute to load. So this is just an idea of what it looks like. If we go back, all right. If you accidentally click here to edit, it's going to send you to the older editor that WordPress has, which isn't ideal for this website. What you want to do, if you do click on that, click on Edit with Elementor. And as you see, we get to the same exact area. All right, so I'm going to go back. This was the frequently asked questions page. We're going to go ahead to our big boy page, to our home page. All right, so let's go with Edit with Elementor. All right, so now that we're on our main page, let's go ahead and explain a little bit what's going on. So we have 2 main things here. We have layouts, which are basically just boxes that we put our content into. And we have our actual content itself. So you can see here in basic, heading is our titles, image is an image, text editors are mere paragraphs, videos, icons, buttons, it goes on and on. So let's explain a little bit about layouts first. So for layouts, we have 5 main sections on this page, so 5 main boxes. You could use your navigator to move through the different areas, just 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But if you don't want to use a navigator, you don't have to. You can just hover over the page and you'll see 3 buttons pop up. So this one will allow you to add a section on top of that, so a box on top of that box. These 3 dots will allow you to edit the section, and that X will allow you to delete that section if you don't want that content anymore. One thing the navigator does is pretty cool, is if you click on this, you can see what's inside of this box. So you can see we have a logo, we have a paragraph, we have a title. And for the navigator, if you accidentally get rid of it, that's okay. If you right click, you can click navigator there, and voila, it's back and ready for business. So for this, let's go ahead and let's explain grids a little bit. So if we go back to here really quick, you see we have something called containers and we had grids. So if I go down to this section, you'll see we have our main section there, and inside of it, we have a grid. What a grid does, and let me show you, is that when we change our screen size, it will change its behavior. For example, on small screens like mobile, it's going to line up one at a time like this. And as it gets bigger, it'll show different behavior. It will spread out because it knows it has more room. One important thing too is that a section can have another section inside of it. So for example, here we have the section and we have a grid inside of it. On top of the first area, if you look here, we also have a container inside here. This is just a box that holds the buttons. So again, just think of containers as boxes you could put your content into to keep everything organized. Right. And now let's go ahead. We're going to explain these 3 things here. So this is the layout. So this layout lets you edit the width of the different of of the different box. It will let you decide how you want the items aligned. You really won't mess with this too much. The style, this is mainly, it's only important such as in sections like here where we had a background image. But for the most part, again, in sections, you're not going to mess with it too much. The only other one that you might want to mess around with is this one here. In the style section, if you go to shape divider, it has the wave brush here. So that's this unique design it has going on here. You could change the width of it. You could change the height of it to however you like how it looks. Advanced is going to talk more about like advanced positioning properties. If you had wanted motion effects, you could do that. I typically targeted the motion effects more to individual elements, but you can do a whole section if you want. All right, so let's talk a little bit about content. Again, content is our title, in other words, our heading, images, buttons, all of that. So the main difference between editing a section versus editing content is, as you can see, as I mentioned earlier, you edit the section by clicking these three dots. On the other hand, if you're hovering over content, you're going to see this little pencil icon. For example, you can see it up there as well. So let's start with the button. So for every single type of content, you're going to have these three options to choose from. So the content of everything will vary a little bit based on its purpose. The style is where you can edit the actual visual aspects of the item, such as the color, the background image, if there's a background image, what the text color is. Typography is where you would edit the actual font itself. So if you click there, it'll give you more options. Let me click that off. Padding is the layout of how things are on the page. For example, if you go there, it'll change the layout of the box. So you can play around with that a little bit. Advanced, on the other hand, is going to be more advanced ways to move the content on the page. For you aren't really going to mess with that much. Instead, you might want to do like motion effects in some areas. Like for example, how it would load on the main page here. Let's see, whoop. We go to advanced, motion effects. You can see it's fade in. And that's why when you scroll down the page on the main website, the text fades in as you scroll down. Just adds a little bit extra pizzazz to the website. So to explain how each one kind of varies, so this is the button. If we go to content, it has the text here. So what the button shows, where you go when you click the button. For example, this is hashtag services. One of the areas down here, it has an ID attached to it called section or services, and that's how it knows to go to that bit of content that is named services. Again, you want to mess with that as much, but just give you a basic overview of what's going on there. We do an animation if you really want. But let's see, for example, here, this is an image. So you have, retina images is a fancy way of saying a high quality image. If that you want it to look like really great on a big screen. So it's just a higher quality version of that image. Mobile, if you want it to look different on mobile, you could add a mobile image there. That's like all the image settings. And let's go here, text editor. For example, here the content will have the paragraph. Let's see, anything else is different. Divider, it's not much to it, just what style it is, what its width is. And style, you could change the color of it if you want to something else. And let's see. That's all the main ones on this page. Oh, like video here. Choose the video file. Self-host just means I uploaded to the website. It's not on YouTube. So again, all the content is things that you will get used to. It's a little bit different for each one. Now that explained the basic content, the basic ones up there. Let me explain what these are down here. This is basically just fancier bits of content. For example, image carousel is actually what I use down here. Oh, where'd it go? So both of these down here, the backdrops, and this is actually an image carousel here. So you get to choose what images you want, how you want the behavior, where you want the arrows at. And these are all things you're going to mess with over time if you did want to add that.